how lovely to connect with you all. Just thought I'd bring in a tarot message from Spirit for those that need it or want it. So it's for over the weekend or over the week, or for whenever you see this message. You know, it's just a message from Spirit that you may need to hear. So let's hope it brings you some hope or inspiration or whatever you need right now. Okay, so I have 3 cards. If you just like to pick either card A, B or C. Card A, B or C. So just breathe and ask your spirit guide to guide you towards the card that will inspire you or give you the message that you need to hear this weekend, or whenever you hear it. Okay. Card A. Right, now this is all about, I feel, being in touch with people. Now I know we're all practicing social distancing and it's very difficult. So I feel this is sort of saying, you know, just because you have to be at home, do reach out to your friends, you know, do keep up the contact. They may need you. They may need to know that you're thinking about them. And they need that contact, but maybe it's also you that needs that contact. There's a lot of people out there, especially empaths and sensitive people, that they spend too much time alone. They sort of disappear into themselves, and then it's really difficult to speak to people again, and you know, to get back to normal, whatever that is. So this card, I feel, is speaking to sort of say, or saying the message you need to hear is really reach out to some of your friends. Either it's because they need that you check up on them, even as there's been saying, you know, it feels like even the strong ones, even the ones that you think are coping okay, even the ones that appear to have it all, doesn't matter. Reach out to them because they may be struggling, and it is a time to share, to bond together, and to keep in touch, to communicate with them. Now if you have got the time, because a lot of people have a lot more time and the ability, if you've got your internet working and everything, it's a great time to reach out to old friends, to old family relations, you know, and just reach out and let people know that you care, that you're thinking about them. And if not, to get online. I mean, there's a lot of these sort of group chats that you can do with House Party and Zoom, you know, get in with all your friends and communicate, and you know, don't suffer in silence, or don't feel too alone, you know, reach out to people. So that's a beautiful card there. Okay, so card B. Right, now this, I feel, has been working with the energy of the full moon that we've just had. The full moon is, we're still sort of sitting in that energy, and the full moon is all about letting go of things. It's detoxing. But I feel this card's coming through to say, especially if you've had time to think, you know, because it almost feels like the world's gone into, apart from the frontline workers, for a lot of people it's time to reset and readjust and reassess and to rest and to think about things. So during this pause, you know, it's also showing you that maybe it's time to walk away from or move on from some of the emotions that have been keeping you perhaps tied down, you know. So perhaps now it's time to sort of face the facts and think, you know, this what I'm holding on to isn't working out. It's time to move on. Or these emotions that I hold on, you know, perhaps these things for my ex that hasn't been in touch for years, you know, these emotions that I'm holding on to, it's just time to let go and to focus on myself and to walk on to brighter things, you know. And it may be that you've been thinking too much about the past, thinking too much about how things were, how things used to be, and it's sort of a time to accept that it's time for you to move on. Even though it's difficult, and even though it can sometimes be hard, so it's almost like it's time to hug yourself, to give yourself the time to heal yourself, and then just realize it's time to walk on. And when you walk on, you actually walk on to brighter, better, new things, and a lot of healing is taking place. So even in this picture, it's sort of showing, you know, maybe do the ritual of writing down these things that you want to let go of. Maybe it's emotions of anger, of resentment, even perhaps emotions towards yourself. Forgive yourself for things you've done. Maybe write them down and then sit outside with the energy of the moon and just burn them. And then, you know, just let go. Sometimes just need to let go and see what happens, because sometimes holding on too tight to things that have happened in the past or people in the past, actually stops our fate moving forward. So this is a lovely time to reflect. Okay, and this card, which I'm sure relates to quite a few, this is sort of about being bored, immotivated, unmotivated, so it's the sort of can't really be bothered to do a lot. But what this card is actually showing you is that this is a great time to have a look and see what opportunities are around. And if you actually take notice of the things that are around you, there is something that's being offered to you, even though it may not appear to be much, even though it's it may not seem great, and especially as you're not in the mood to do a lot, there's not a lot of motivation. This is saying, if you start looking at what's in front of you, you can really start building. It may be as this time you've got on your own, or this time that you've got some more downtime, you can start doing some of these creative things you wanted to do. Write a book, write a story, design something. I don't know, there's just all this creative energy around. Or maybe it's looking online and looking for new sort of avenues. A lot of people are thinking, oh, maybe I've lost my job, but that doesn't mean to say that it's a bad thing. It means that you can now look for something that's more in line with what you want to do, something that maybe excites you. So maybe it's time to just keep looking for opportunities, setting up on your own business, setting up and learning different things. So it is a time to try to look at the opportunities around. Maybe something's been flashing up on your on the internet, on your Facebook page, or a thought has been coming into your mind and you're not giving it much attention. And this is saying, look down at what's being offered to you, and you will be able to create something. And it can turn into something quite magical, and it could be something that can really grow. Look at the colours behind it. It's like there's some magic brewing. So it's definitely time to sort of try and focus on that. You don't have to, get up and get too motivated, but you can look at it, read about it, investigate, It just seems really good. And just because I feel I want to pull another card, and this is just overall for the group, and this is all about we may be moving through some big changes right now, and they do feel quite disturbing. They're quite dramatic changes for a lot of people. They do feel quite dramatic, but we are being led through this transition, and when we get to the other side, when we get through this, we would have learned a lot, but a lot of things that weren't meant to be in our lives or weren't meant to be valued in our lives may be sort of moved forward, and it will make us come together perhaps to work more as a team together, if that makes sense to you. But it just seems that these three cards together are saying, we may be going through some dramatic changes, but these changes can be for the good. They're taking you through a transition, which I feel is a very spiritual transition, and you will be pulled through it and guided through it. So it's a time to just feel sort of like go with the flow and not think or worry or watch the news too much. And then when you come out at the end, it's all about this sort of collaboration, working together, and you will be able to build up something that's perhaps more meaningful and more made through love, and made with more meaning. Anyway, I hope that will make sense to anybody who's listening. Lots of love and many blessings. Keep safe.